My first proper online multi-class race in LMU was full of surprises. Some good, some bad, some ridiculous. So let's get going with this 30-minute race at Spa in the Porsche 911 GT3. You can't see them right now, but there are also LMP2s on this grid, which we'll see later for sure. But even without them, this race had some moments for sure. Surprisingly, the start of this race was not one of them. This is as clean as Spa Turn 1 can get, I think. And even afterwards, you can see people are seemingly behaving so far. Also, I'm ducking in behind this Ferrari, no need to go side by side up Eau Rouge, especially in lap 1, because contrary to the beginner series, this is the intermediate series, which does not have tire warmers anymore. So we're starting on coldish tires, not as cold as in practice or qualifying, but still the tires aren't really up to temperature yet. And that's something that I gotta factor in. This is not something that I had to deal with before this in the beginner series. So I'm taking this quite careful. Qualifying didn't go amazing, but also was fine. And by the way, here it's still green flag, but you can already see the smoke and someone on the left impacting the barrier hard. So yeah, not everything is going smooth. I'm not quite sure what happened, but definitely there's one position already gained. So yeah, qualifying was okay, but not great. Didn't have the greatest lap, and also an incident in my second qualifying lap, which meant that it was completely shot. But I don't really care. I just want to have clean racing here and maybe get some nice overtakes done. And well, maybe we can try it now as I brake alongside the Ferrari here. But then I see, oh god, the BMW on the left spinning on the side. And I decided, let's back out. There's no reason to do an overtake attempt if I don't know if that BMW is actually gonna stay off the track. So yeah, once again, let's keep our heads down, let's keep it cool. It's still lap 1, we don't have to force anything here. As I said, it's a 30-minute race, so that means a little bit longer than the beginner races. And okay, this DHL sign is flying around as well. And always not quite sure what's going on with the physics of those objects, but it sometimes can be kind of funny. But once again, I see an opportunity here on the Ferrari, who brakes kind of early, which he has to because he has someone in front, but I decide to take the inside line and seemingly he lets me go. And if you look in the rearview mirror, kind of unfortunate, he spins seemingly on his own. And I get a good run here on the Lexus, and yeah, just keep on the inside, brake early enough so I don't run wide, but he also seemingly backs out. And while maybe some more action in terms of like fighting in the racing, I always also can appreciate if people just are careful and don't want to force anything if it's not strictly necessary. You can see the Lexus behind if you take a look in the mirror. Also seemingly was a little bit off the track, so maybe he also now needs to slow down because we are gaining quite a bit now. And that means, well, we have a little bit of a gap to the guys behind. But also there is a bit of a gap, even bigger one in front, as what's going on behind. Okay, I'm not quite sure what that BMW was trying to do there. As, once again, someone, I don't know, once again, what happened, but spun out for sure. Luckily off the track, so we can just pass him, and we are in P6. And that is actually, and was, as I was driving this, quite surprising, because I really didn't feel like I was very comfortable when I started in qualifying, and that's why I also took it very easy in the beginning here. And so far that totally paid off. Most of the positions gained here, apart from on the Ferrari and on the Lexus, were just incidental because of incidents of other people. Nothing to do with me driving particularly well, but so far so good. I think I'm doing okay, and we are catching a little bit to the guys in front. So yeah, while we do that, I actually also wanna just quickly give a huge thank you to all the new people on the channel. I know that at least some of my guide content has really brought in a lot of new people, and I really appreciate you being here and watching my videos. Yeah, also videos like this, which is not guide content, it's just me racing and trying to entertain you with something or some things that happened, and yeah, you're gonna see later there are some really ridiculous things happening later in this race. But yeah, just a big thank you. If you aren't subscribed yet, then please feel free to do so. It's free and it really helps me out. And leave a like on the video if you enjoy this kind of content as well. That means a lot to me. But for now, let's try to focus on this race here. You can see we did kind of pull a gap already to the guys behind. I'm not quite sure if something happened, but there's only one guy and he's 2.5 seconds behind. And we are slowly but surely catching the guys in front. I'm not 100% comfortable at this point yet. Feel like I could definitely drive better, but I'm also, as I said, taking it careful because I was looking at how the tires were behaving because they were cold at the start. And I was flicking through my settings here. You probably already can guess what I'm using here. This is recorded after my guide video on the TC settings, which I did a lot of experimentation on. These are just basically the settings that I was recommending. I think for this race I bumped up traction control by 1 just to be on the safe side, but other than that it's yeah, basically the method that I described, which is half the TC, keep cut as is, and then just max out TC slip. But that really doesn't help me if I have some other problems. Here at this point I was not 100% sure here, but something in my wheel felt really weird. And then as I brake for this corner here, disaster strikes. It seems like my wheel completely disconnected, but it didn't completely actually, because I was still steering, pedals were also working, but I couldn't shift anymore and force feedback was gone. And I was just trying to like wiggle my wheel and like push it back into the base. Seemingly there was some connection issue here. I'm still at this point not 100% sure what happened. I've had this before, like once or twice, but not in an online race yet. That was really unfortunate. I lost over 2 seconds just because of that. Luckily I was still able to keep it on the road, slow it down, get the wheel back working, and we're still going. That really could have ended in disaster if that happened at any other point, or if the wheel stayed disconnected, because yeah, not being able to shift, not a great thing in a car that needs to go through the gears, right? So yeah, I was kind of rattled by that, I have to say. And at this point I was, I think, in the race still trying to like wiggle the wheel, trying to figure out if it was like working correctly now. It seemingly was, but I was still kind of weirded out by that, and that kind of hindered my focus, sadly. But yeah, we did lose out. The guy behind is closer again, and we definitely have a bigger gap to the guys in front now, which I feel like I was catching, but yeah, losing over 2 seconds there just because of that. Well, as long as that doesn't happen again, I think we can be happy. But other people seemingly also have problems. Barely able to see that guy there, but I think that was a Lamborghini in the wall on the right side there. So another free position. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. As I said, I think 2 actual on-track overtakes. Every other position I've gained is through just other people having incidents and me just passing them when they're off track. I don't mind 100%, but also it's always kind of a shame. I like having actual racing going on and yeah, fighting with people. We're gonna have that a little bit later as well, but also we're gonna have some well, unfortunate situations still coming up. The wheel disconnect thing was one thing, but I also will have some stupid mistakes, as I do. If you know my videos, in almost every race that I show you, there is something weird going on. That's not to say that I have like stupid incidents in every race that I do. I just don't want to show you races where basically nothing happens. I just drive cleanly and there's nothing interesting to show. That wouldn't make for a great video. So hopefully you don't think that I'm just a bad driver and make mistakes all the time. I mean, I'm not great, I wouldn't say that, but also just keep in mind that I do show you, or I tend to show you the races where something happens, and a lot of the time that's me making dumb mistakes. Here is one of those. It's not terrible, but I have a really bad exit. I was a little bit too quick on throttle and with a little bit too much steering. not the greatest line, and that meant that we once again lost out quite a bit. I mean, the lap wasn't super slow, but it also wasn't fast. And you can see in the rear view, BMW behind me has caught up, at least somewhat. But let's actually skip to later in this lap, where you will be able to see one of the stupidest mistakes. What's the saying? Never lift at Blanchiment? I'm not quite sure how I was able to catch that, but I almost full lifted because I felt like I had missed the apex and I didn't want to go off track and get like a penalty then. But seriously, once again here, stupid mistake coming out, and I need to slow down because of track limits. Get that done at least and have it only be green. If for the people commenting on my last video, I know that I can do that. I sometimes just forget. It's just a thing. But yeah, that Blanchiment incident, especially in the Porsche, lifting there, other than just lifting to like 90, maybe 80% throttle, is almost always suicide. And once again, not the greatest line, Oppo Rouge. I'm really losing focus here. So I decide at the end of this lap, come on, now let's get your head down, just focus on actually driving cleanly. I know that from the times that the people in front are doing, I can go faster than them. I can catch them. I just need to keep it together and try to, well, just drive clean, not make any mistakes, and then there's definitely a possibility for one, maybe even two more positions to be gained here. If I can do that, well, that we will see later. For now, you also will see that we are not far from the LMP2s catching us, which will be another factor. But yeah, for now, we are still, I think, we do have this full lap where I can actually just focus on driving. There's no one directly behind, and the people in front are also still a little bit away, 2.5 seconds to the guy in P4. And finally, I feel like I'm actually driving well. The first laps were okay, but I had some really bad ones in between. And now in lap number 7, I finally feel like, okay, I know what I'm doing, and if I can do this and continue to do this, I actually have a chance of going even further up the grid here. You can see already half a second up. Doesn't mean that it's gonna stay that way, but at least I feel a lot more confident at this point. Kind of push a little bit too fast into this right-left combination, but still okay. But I think here in Stavolo I lose a bit of time, a little bit too fast going in, and lose a little bit of time, and then well, kind of miss the apex a little bit. At least I'm not very fast out of Stavolo 2. That means I lost like about a quarter of a second or something. Not bad. We are still catching. It was 2.5 seconds, now 2.2 seconds, 2.3 to the guy in front. Almost get track limits there, but it was still okay seemingly. And if I can actually get a good bus stop here, then we will probably be able to catch up to the guys in front here. A little bit of a slide at the end while going on throttle means that we do lose out a little bit, but so far so good, and we are catching. And we are now, I think, 2 laps later, and I have caught up. I'm almost on the rear bumper of this BMW in front. Actually 3 BMWs directly in front of me, and a Porsche currently leading. So maybe we can have a say in that ordering in front, hopefully. Had to be a little bit careful out of the first corner. And then I see the BMW here going really wide, and I then see him slowing down. Okay, probably there was an off-track involved here, so he probably had a yellow or even orange off-track from going so wide, and then, well, decided to not get that penalty and just try and slow down, and that means we get a kind of free position because he made a mistake. Now it's just about trying to keep him behind, but blue flags are starting. So finally we have some multiclass action. It has been quite a long time. We are already in lap 9, and I have the LMP2 leader directly behind me. I just keep my cool. There's no reason to like jump out of the way for him, but always you gotta keep in mind where a good place for him to overtake would be. And while thinking about all of that, I kind of mess up here. Not much, I think. I was just a little bit too fast going into Pohon. I should have slowed down a little bit more. But that's the new tire model still. You have to be really careful. That was a big spin. Luckily no impact. There's a lot of runoff. And I was really unsure what the BMW here was doing. But if you take a look, if you want to rewind, he was actually off track at the end of Pohon. And that probably gave him an illegal overtake on me, which doesn't make any sense at all, but that's the only explanation I have for him slowing down there and letting me by. So we are in P6, at least, like, no major things happened. I think my tires are kind of screwed, at least a little bit from that slide, but other than that, no damage on the car. We are still going. We lost probably like 10, maybe close to 15 seconds, I'm not quite sure, maybe we'll see at the end of this lap. But also, so far the traffic with the LMP2's overtaking was kind of okay. I missed my braking here into bus stop quite a lot actually, but LMP2 behind me was still quite a ways away, and now I'm pretty happy with this overtake here. He's easily away from me before I have to brake for this first corner. And BMW behind also is still a ways away, 1.5 seconds right now. But we did lose out because of that spin to the guys in front. If we take a look at our last lap, was about like 11-12 seconds slower. So we did lose out at least that amount of time. And as I said, the tires are also a little bit screwed right now. But it's still okay. We do some damage control and try to keep it at least in this position. Maybe catch back up to the guys in the front, so P5. Maybe there's still a chance. I mean, there's at least 3-4 laps still to go here. But yeah, first of all, let's concentrate once again on managing traffic. First guy here in the LMP2, no problem. I can leave him by easily. I did brake a little bit earlier just so that he has space. This one was a little bit unfortunate. He dives into no name and I didn't slow down enough to really capitalize on him going quite aggressively into that corner, so that I could have had still a good line. Lost out about a second, and that's something that I gotta work on. It's just, multiclass racing is a skill of its own. So managing traffic, both from the perspective of the slower and from the perspective of the faster class, both wanna just lose as little time as possible with these overtakes. And well, that sometimes means that you have to like really be aware of what's going on, and then yeah, not do stupid things like this. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with multiclass. That was just me being once again a little bit too fast into that right-hander, and that's 2 more people overtaking me. Once again, really lucky that I didn't impact anything here. We can still go, but once again, tires are now even more screwed, and I outbrake myself for this right-hander as well. So already quite a bunch of things happened in this race, but we're not done yet. So while we are now in P8, I was like, the guys in front are still close enough, maybe I can do something here. It's seemingly now the last lap. It's kind of close with LMP2s still being somewhere on track. But then for this last lap, I do this. And in the race, I was like, this is game over. And then for some reason, I managed to save this. I think I just turned in too aggressively here, too sharply, too aggressive into Eau Rouge, and just lost the car because of that. But that I was able to do a 360 here up the hill and just keep going in second gear was kind of ridiculous. I had to look at this a couple of times in the replay, and from my recording here, just just super interesting that all of the incidents that I had, I didn't impact anything, which was super lucky, I have to say. In the end, we finished P8, which is totally fine. I definitely could have finished higher, but also we did gain a lot of safety rating. You can see we are on our way to Silver 2 already, which is nice. So overall, this race was, I would say, super lucky. I was driving well, at least in parts, but with all that was going on, I think I can be really happy with where we ended up. Let me know what you think. Do you think it was just pure luck what happened in this race, or was there maybe also some skill involved? And have you maybe had similar experiences in your races? Let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really hope that you enjoyed this race and my commentary. I try to do my best to be both educational and entertaining at the same time. If you want to see more racing action like this, then you can click this video on screen right now, which of course will also have some very interesting and sketchy moments. But that's it from me. I want to thank you a lot for watching. I've been HD Racing, and I will hopefully see you in the next one.